Hello guys and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me Vulcan. Today I have for you game 2 out of 2 games between Herr Robert and Inhari in round 1 of the second European tournament. Today we are going to be seeing Sainte-Mère-Église, and on the Allied side Herr Robert has chosen the 1st Infantry, and on the Axis side Inhari has chosen the 9th Panzer. So in the last game we did see Herr Robert win quite convincingly with his 91st Luftlander over Inhari's 101st Airborne, and he just played such a textbook game that was his infantry supporting his support vehicles, and he just overran Inhari slowly but surely and eventually just found the win through the conquest points. And that was just a really solid performance from Herr Robert, and I really enjoyed watching that game because it definitely showed like one of the best strategies to use with a 91st Luftlander, so that was awesome. Now we're going to be seeing Herr Robert on the 1st Infantry, and I think it's going to be important to see how Herr Robert utilises this division versus the 9th Panzer, because this is an interesting matchup that relies quite a lot on the M4s on the Allied side, and on the Axis side the sort of 20mm autocannon units. So M4s just in general really strong in phase A. Herr Robert has plenty of them. Yeah, I think he can bring in 2 in phase A, so that's what he's going to be trying to utilise most likely. And then on the side of the 9th Panzer you have the Panzer II Lux, you've got the Befehl Panzer II Cs, and you've also got the Panzer Is. So you can use those to sort of hit and run in certain locations on the map, and I'd like to see Inhari try and split the focus of Herr Robert so he can try and dance around the M4s, because if he can do so, then those Lux can do a lot of damage against the elite infantry that that Herr Robert will be using. So let's have a look at some of these units going down. On the side of Herr Robert, it's going to be a M4DD early on with 1 assault breacher, most likely, a couple of assault teams, and then there's also maybe an assault MG in there. Going to be a mortar following that up early on, and the M4DD. On the top side it's going to be 2 units of infantry, most likely assault MGs with some assault bazookas, and probably assault MG, assault bazooka on the bottom side. So he does have that M4 early on, and all of those troops are heading straight for the town. So it could just be 2 assault teams assisted by 2 assault breachers. On the side of Inhari, he has 2 Panzer II Lux heading straight for this town, accompanied by 2 Sturm Pioneers. There's also an AT gun following up with a command. Those are both heading to the town as well, with some Panzer Grenadiers. On the top side it's going to be an AT gun and the Speedtroop, and on the bottom side it's just 2 units of Panzer Grens. I think this deployment is okay. I'm just a little bit worried about these Lux and how exactly they're going to be utilised in this town up against an M4 and all of this elite infantry, because at the moment I would say Herr Robert has a pretty damn good combination of units. Assault breachers will probably want to smoke themselves off. However, with the M4 down the road, that is going to be able to open up onto the Panzer II Lux. Does get the driver wounded immediately. Can it find the second shot and the kill? Yes, it can. So that's already one of the Panzer II Lux gone down. Now the Sturm Pioneers trying to make some ground, but they need to be supported by the Panzer Grenadiers if this is going to work. You don't want to engage the Sturm Pioneers with these assault teams without that fire support there, because otherwise the assault teams will just kill off your lower strength squads, because these are 12 strength at the end of the day. They have 12 men. The Sturm Pioneers, they only have 6 men. And you can see that they are taking a lot of damage at the moment from the rifles that the assault team have. Already down to 3 men. 81mm mortars even coming in there to help pin things down. The assault team is going to be pushing aggressively, and honestly trying to contest this town with the 9th Panzer versus the 1st Infantry I think is the first mistake that Inhari has made so far. So these Sturm Pioneers, not long for this world I don't think, and the assault team manages to take out one of the half-tracks there with a grenade. Panzer II Lux just quite simply can't do anything because it can't move onto the main road to kill off this M4, but this is a nice push on the bottom side that Inhari's got going on with the Panzer Grenadiers. He's found a good salient down here and actually a +1 early on. Now just imagine if it was backed up by a Panzer II Lux on the top or bottom side. That is where I think Inhari had so much potential to make a lot of ground, because Herr Robert was almost guaranteed the town early on. But now Inhari's kind of in a predicament where his Panzer II Lux is almost useless, and he's just having to reinforce with more Panzer Grenadiers now that both of his Sturm Grenadiers have been killed. So these assault teams are going to be able to continue to jump forwards, and they've barely taken any losses. Like 3 men from the assault teams have died and a couple from the assault breaches there. Nothing too significant, but either way, Panzer Grenadiers going to continue to push on this bottom side, are going to bump into the assault bazookas. Assault bazookas going to open up at range because they have the M1 carbines, which is going to allow the Panzer Grenadiers to utilize their machine gun, and that's going to be a pretty dead assault bazooka. TAC 38, that gets killed off. Assault teams dealing with these Panzer Grenadiers very well, which is to be expected. It's a flamethrower unit and can just absolutely melt this infantry. Now what Inhari has to watch out for is if this Panzergrenadier gets pinned, because if it does, then these Panzergrens get surrendered, and that's pretty much game over for the town. It looks like it already is, to be honest, as the Panzer II Lux backs off with a weapon jam. The M4DD moving up to further up to try and get that shot off. Through trying to make ground on the top side, but they're being pinned by the assault MG, and now they will probably be killed off if they don't fall back. Panzergren still making ground on the bottom side though, and Inhari currently sitting at a lead with the 58 points, but Panzer II Lux is coming in, and if that can accompany some infantry, I think it could make some work, or get some work done on the top or bottom side. I'm not entirely sure why the Panzer II Lux has to go up here though, rather than down to these Panzer Grenadiers that are overextended. And now that Herr Robert has the +1, he's got to find a way to make ground again. So Herr Robert just completely controlling this town. Not really much chance of pushing back in here for Inhari throughout the entire game, really. Since these assault breaches, they have 3 grenades each, and if they're micro correctly, then they should get all of those off and kill multiple squads. And the assault teams, well, they have flamethrowers, and if they don't have their flamethrowers, then they're pretty damn accurate with their other weapons, and they can do a lot of damage. So that's something that Inhari just needs to ignore now. Just forget about the town, move elsewhere. The only issue with forgetting about the town at this point is it allows the M4 to either move to the top or bottom side to counter the vehicles that Inhari is going to try and use. So double Panzer II Lux and the Panzer 1C rolling in up here. The M4DD is quite simply just going to be able to roll round and probably kill off this Lux at close range. So these Panzergrens at the bottom side, they're going to be coming under fire from 2 assault MG squads soon, plus the 81mm mortar. And once that is the case, then these Panzer Grenadiers will be run over quite soon after. Assault breaches are going to throw one of their grenades. Was that onto the Panzer II Lux? It was. But now we have the half-track there, pinning those down alongside the Panzer II Lux. And they took quite a lot of damage. Interesting on this top side though, Panzer II Lux did get the better of the M1 gun. PaK 38 does have shot onto the M7DD, and that's going to be a transmission damage. PaK 38 might actually get the kill here. Going to be forcing the M7 back. This Panzer II Lux needs to get a move on. Just fast move up to this top side. Get the shot onto the M7DD and take that out. Because this PaK 38 is going to be relatively unreliable. Does manage to find the last shot before it retreats into the orchard, which was nice for Inhari there. So yeah, this Panzer II Lux could definitely exploit that now. With the AT gun going down, that's like basically the cue to start being very aggressive with your tanks. Of course there is the assault bazooka here, but he doesn't know it. So you could still potentially get very aggressive since you have other Panzer IIs at your disposal. Inhari trying to go for the close range engagement with the M4 there. Really didn't work out. Half-track goes down to the assault breaches. But this other Panzer II Lux with its weapon jam probably just needs to move back to the spawn point at this point. Otherwise it's just going to get cleaned up by the M4. The M5A1 that's going to be coming in to assist on the bottom side. These Panzer Grenadiers are slowly but surely being cut down, and well, with the help of the mortar there, it's probably going to get the job done. New Panzer Grenadiers are on the way, but this combined push from Herr Robert is exactly what he needs to just clean up this infantry. And it's something that Herr Robert seems to do very well. He knows what units support each other very well and takes full advantage of that. Now using the M4DD to engage the Marder at close range, and well, that's job done. Marder goes down, Panzer II gets killed by the Assault Bazooka, Assault Bazooka takes out the half-track as well. Now it's just leaving the Panzer Grenadiers and the Panzergrenadier to hold the front line, and even on the top side, Assault Bazooka comes up, takes out the Panzer II, and I would say that could have happened even when I mentioned fast moving up here, but it's just based on timing a lot of the time, and that sort of makes the difference between like a good player and a great player, is just the timing of their attacks and their pushes. Because now there's an M4 here, so even if those Panzer IIs and the Panzer I there did manage to break through, they would have bumped into an M4 now, whereas before they would not have, and that was a much better chance for them to exploit that area of the map. So got to take those sort of chances while you have them, but now it's looking pretty damn dire. The M4 is just quite happily rolling across the main field here. Pak 38 has been brought in, but we'll most likely need to use a return fire in order to pop the M4, because otherwise the M4 is just going to engage the Pak 38 at max range and kill it with its HE. M4 takes out the Panzergrenadier on the top side, and well, these Panzer Grenadiers are just running for their life right now. So the Assault Breaches and Assault MGs just happily moving up, +2 on the side of Herr Robert. Now he's just got to dig in, really, Herr Robert, and play through Phase B with the M5 guns. He could probably get an M5 gun to the point where it covers the spawn, and then it would be game over for Inhari. But what can Inhari do at this point? So, possibly a couple of airstrikes. I think they get Me-109 G2BR21s. They might be useful for sort of suppressing the M4s or even the M1 guns, whilst you try and push back in with the Panzer IVs. Because if sort of at this point Inhari can clean up the M4s, then it puts him in a very good position to then attack the towns again, or even just the top or bottom side. Like having that Panzer IV support in front, like behind your infantry, would work out very well. And he does get 125 points per minute, so if he has at least one card of Panzer IV Js, he can bring in one of those per minute. And that can be something that he can use to therefore counter the M4DD. And if the M4DDs go down, then, like I said, they're very vulnerable until Phase C, when they can bring in M4A1s, and even those are worse than the initial M4DDs that you get. So that's what Inhari kind of needs to do. He's allowing this Pak 38 though to open up onto the M4DD from range, which is a really silly idea against the 1st Infantry, because the 1st Infantry, especially in Phase A, inherently has no recon. Not on the ground anyway. So that's something that you can exploit with a Pak 38, for example, in order to kill off these M4s. Like, that's what leaves the 1st Infantry very vulnerable. However, at max range, M4's just shrugging off the shots from the Pak 38 is going to end up killing the Pak 38 with the HE, with the help of the P38 Lightning. And, well, that's that. Marder 3 is going to be coming in. That can try and engage this M4 from range. If you can find the kill onto either of the M4s, then that's a good start at making a comeback. But at the moment, Herr Robert is on a +3. And with the disparity of units on the map, it's unfortunately just getting worse and worse for Inhari as he continues to lose unit after unit to Herr Robert's forces. Like, I think in this game, it's just going to be incredibly clean from Herr Robert. He played out the town engagement very, very well. Used the M4 to basically counter all of the light armoured vehicles that the 9th Panzer was going to use. And now it's just a matter of keeping this M4 away from the Marder 3, so that's what he's doing. And possibly the AT gun can start rolling forwards to take on that Marder. Even though the Marder does have that HE ammunition, but currently it's wasting it on firing at infantry. M4DD on the top side is going to spot the speed through it with the help of the Assault MG, and they're going to get taken out. P-38 Lightning coming in with the 215 HE power bombs. This is an open top vehicle, potential for a kill here. Doesn't find it, but does force back the Marder 3 for now. That's going to allow the M4 to advance aggressively, and that's exactly what Herr Robert's going to do. Panzer IV-J is on its way though finally, and this should have been a priority moving straight into Phase B. So a little bit late again, and like I said, the difference between a good and a great player is definitely timing in Steel Division. And now this Panzer IV, it can do a lot of damage. It can still kill off the M4D, it can still blunt the infantry that's running across the open here. But he's just got to be careful about how he goes about this. You want to probably try and double team this M4DD. So if you have the Panzer IV-J move aggressively towards the M4DD, whilst the M3 or Marder 3 moves onto the main road and starts engaging, then that's a way to take that out quite effectively. And then the Panzer IV-J can quite easily use its machine guns and main gun to kill off infantry. It's just these M1 guns are backing up Herr Robert now, so a Panzer IV, if it moves too far forwards, may just get sniped. Now on the bottom, looks like 2 units of assault MGs went down. So, nice couple kills there for Inhari. That's going to be an internal fragment though, onto the M4DD. Can the Marder 3 finish the job? Panzer IV-J gets the bailout. That's exactly what you want to see. But M1 gun has moved up. That's got range onto the Panzer IV-J, and that cannot be ignored. This is where you would like to have some sort of air force to quickly hit this M1 gun, even if it's a fighter to strafe it, just pin it down, stop this Panzer IV-J from dying. But this time around, not going to be the case. P-38 Lightning comes in again for the bombing strike onto the Marder 3, and this time is going to pick up the kill. Bomb's doing the job, and Panzer IV-J is in trouble. I just feel like a little bit of lapse of concentration there towards the end here. Herr Robert is basically pushing towards a +4, 74% territory lead at the moment, and currently 6 minutes and 30 seconds until victory for Herr Robert. Now a Panzer II looks coming in. Not really sure what that can do, but with the duck being on the field, looks like this mortar has provided smoke to allow the M4 to be fixed up. And Herr Robert's managed to keep that alive, which is quite something, but there really isn't much Inhari can do about it, as both of his Panzer Grenadiers here get pinned down. That is not very fun at all. M4DD on the top side, that's going to be helping to engage Grenadiers here. Assault Breachers have got those on lockdown though with their own grenade. M5 gun has finally joined the party, and if that sits on this main road here, like I mentioned, it can definitely cut off any reinforcements that Inhari tries to use. Panzer IV goes down onto the top side to it, and well, it's pretty much over. 3 minutes and 55 seconds until Herr Robert's victory. 76% territory lead. Another dominating performance from Herr Robert. And it just seems that the power of this division, the 1st Infantry, really comes from their Phase A, and the fact that these M4DDs just can do so much damage. And that's exactly what we've seen in this game. Now double AT gun trying to engage the Panzer IV-J does find the bailout. Only 8 armor there against the 11 AP of the M1 gun. Bomber's also going to come in onto the Marder 3. And just having no reply to this P-38 is just devastating. Panzer IV goes down, Inhari surrenders, and 16 minutes and 12 seconds in, Herr Robert takes the victory with 1,605 kills to 210 losses. So, spectacular performance from Herr Robert. Unfortunate for Inhari. Like I said, it was all about, it just seemed like timing in this one. Last game was about more like unit allocation. In this one, I think it was fine to use the Panzer IIs, as long as you keep them away from the M4s. And that's what he failed to do from the start of the game. So it left him in a pretty dodgy position moving on. And it's something that I think Inhari can definitely improve on. If he watches back his own replays, he'll find that he does have opportunities across the map. Because sometimes when you're playing in these games against great players, you look at it and you go, oh, this is impossible. Like, how do I win against this? Because this guy has a counter to everything I do. But it's all about just finding the gaps in the defenses at the right time and exploiting those so that they have to therefore invest sort of units to what you're doing, as opposed to you investing units to what they're doing. So you sort of take that initiative, and that's really what can allow you to take control of a match that you're potentially behind in. So that is basically all I have to say about this. But if we jump in, we can see the kills all came down to this M4. It really just smashed through the early game for Herr Robert. If it had got taken out, then that would have been pretty devastating for Herr Robert, because he wouldn't have had the sort of support he needed to help out his elite infantry. So maybe an investment into Armada 3 at the start of the game to fire down the main road into the town might have been a better idea to counter the M4DD, so that then Inhari's infantry may have been able to make some work. But I doubt it, because of obviously assault teams versus Sturm Grenadiers, especially 1-star, or not even, you know, like they were unvetted Sturm Grenadiers going up against 3-star assault teams with flamethrowers and 12 men. It's not really an engagement that you even want to try and take in the first place. But killing the M4s early on against the 1st Infantry is probably one of the most important points about any matchup with the 1st Infantry, because they just don't, and they don't have the recon to stop it either. Like, you can ambush them with AT guns all day long. So yeah, that's about it anyway. The rest of the kills there for you guys. Inhari only really picking up the M7 as a significant kill. But that is it. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this one. Congratulations to Herr Robert, taking 2 games gives him a big leg up in this tournament. And since it's Swiss style, points definitely do count. So there you go. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.